History is supposed to move forward. One era follows another. Stone becomes bronze, bronze becomes iron. This sequence is treated as law, but occasionally, something appears that doesn't belong. An object that fits nowhere. An artifact that shouldn't exist. At least not when it does. And when that happens, history doesn't adapt. It resists. Text can be altered, copied, translated, rewritten. Artifacts cannot explain themselves. They simply exist. Their material, craftsmanship, and wear tell a story that language cannot revise. That's why artifacts are dangerous. They don't argue. They contradict. The artifact wasn't found in a palace, or a capital, or a known center of civilization. It emerged from a place considered insignificant. No legends, no records, no expectation, which is exactly why it mattered. Because history only prepares explanations for discoveries it expects. Carbon dating suggested one era. Material composition suggested another. Manufacturing techniques suggested something else entirely. Each test was correct, but together they made no sense. The artifact didn't break a rule, it broke the timeline. The precision was wrong, too refined, too deliberate. Tool marks implied methods that shouldn't exist for centuries. Not advanced enough to be modern, too advanced to be ancient. It sat in between, like a missing chapter. Historians love the word anomaly. It sounds scientific, temporary, dismissible. Anomalies can be ignored, but when anomalies accumulate, they stop being accidents. They become patterns, and patterns threaten structure. History is not just a record, it's a framework. It requires linear progress, clear origins, defined beginnings. Artifacts that violate this don't just confuse historians, they destabilize narratives. There were no press conferences, no museum tours, no documentaries. The artifact wasn't hidden. It was quietly archived, not destroyed, not denied, simply not discussed. Silence is not ignorance, it's strategy. Research requires funding. Funding requires approval. Approval requires alignment. Questions that threaten timelines rarely receive resources, not because they're false, but because answers would be expensive. When researchers compared the artifact to objects from other regions, similar patterns emerge. Different cultures, different continents, same design logic, no known contact, no accepted explanation, just echoes. The most unsettling possibility is not lost technology, it's continuity. That knowledge didn't start once, but emerged, collapsed, and reemerged. Again and again, civilizations forgetting what came before them. Linear progress is comforting. It implies superiority. It suggests we are the culmination. But the artifact suggests something else. That intelligence rises and falls. That mastery can be lost. That history may be cyclical. If advanced knowledge existed earlier, then modern civilization isn't unique. It's a repetition. And that idea is deeply uncomfortable because it implies fragility. Institutions don't panic. They delay, they label, they isolate, they compartmentalize. The artifact was placed in a category with no future, a dead end. That's how inconvenient truths are managed. Not all silence is conspiracy. Some of it is preservation. A narrative held together by assumptions cannot afford fractures. So fractures are softened, or postponed, or ignored. The artifact doesn't threaten the past, it threatens certainty. It asks a question history avoids. What if we are not the first to reach this point? Artifacts survive. Context doesn't. Floods erase cities. Time erases intention. What remains is incomplete truth, and incomplete truth is dangerous to rigid systems. There is nothing magical about the artifact. No inscriptions of gods, no obvious warnings. Its danger lies in its normality. It looks functional, as if it belonged. The artifact doesn't shout, it whispers. It suggests that history is not broken, but edited, and edits always leave traces. If this artifact exists, how many others were never found, or were found and quietly forgotten? History survives on coherence. This artifact does not fit, and that may be the point. Some discoveries don't rewrite history. They expose its boundaries. And once those boundaries are seen, they cannot be unseen. The artifact remains. History adjusts around it, quietly,